And Tisha Campbell, man, she's one of my favorite comedic actresses of all time. Like, I don't know if I have her on my Mount Rushmore, but like, as she demonstrates in this episode, we're going to cover later, man. Like, she's got the chops. She's always had the chops.
Happened in the 90s.
That WWE tape or CD they had with all the music, like the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, with like DX. I mean, all the hits, Steve.
Yeah.
That shit. I need to get that again. Just like find it at a thrift store or something. Just put it in the car. I used to rock out to the DX theme song, just driving around Perrysburg. Suck it.
I can
Suck it, you bitches.
I like that Triple H song that people hardly ever talk about. It was probably like his second or third edition. On sale? Is this on?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the best song on it's Mark Henry's Sexual Chocolate. It's a sexual.
Was that Isaac Hayes?
No, I don't. I mean, I hope it is, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But the motherfucker can sing, Steve. I mean, you could probably legit, if you had the game, you could probably just fuck to that. It was that romantic, Steve. It's Mark Henry.
Yeah, I mean, you could fuck to anything.
It's a sexual. It was very Isaac Hayes, though. You're right.
You can get it crack into some corn.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to see that shit.
Got the life you want to see.
Oh, wait, he's having a stroke.
Who do you think is the most iconic comedic relationship, or who has the most? Like, I'm a Martin Gina guy.
Okay.
You know, I feel like Ricky and Lucy, they were the OGs. They started this gangsta-ish. But you know, being a child of the '90s, I think Martin and Gina are my goats.
I gotta pick it just because that's my favorite show. But that's a tough one to win because you got Tim and his wife on Home Improvement. Tim and Jill. Obviously, you know, you got the Ross and Rachels of the world for people that like that show. As a personal fan of Frasier, you have Niles and Daphne. There's a lot of will they or won't they. And I guess Niles and Daphne might even be 2000s. Might not even be able to count that. But Martin and Gina, yeah, dude.
Got
It's forever
Khadijah.
loves, dude. Yeah.
Or not Khadijah, Sinclair and Overton.
But you knew that was going to happen. They loved it. It was just like puppy love the whole time. But like, yeah, dude. Plus, I mean, Martin had Brian. He had the whole shebang with the proposal with Brian McKnight.
Yeah, and
I still cry when I see that, Steve.
It gives you the feels for sure, man.
I got this ring, man. Oh, I only got $5. Okay. I mean, dude, Steve, come on.
Gina, I will marry you. Damn.
Yeah, that's the best. What do you want me to say?
Damn.
You did it, okay? You did it.
And Tisha Campbell, man, she's one of my favorite comedic actresses of all time. Like, I don't know if I have her on my Mount Rushmore, but like, as she demonstrates in this episode, we're going to cover later, man. Like, she's got the chops. She's always had the chops.
I think this show has some of the best like female comedic actors because both her and Tashina Arnold are both heavy hitters.
Yeah,
you know. I always got to stand up for Pam, but yeah, Gina is she's a G, dude. She's been funny in multiple things, and in this, she does this time and time again. She's very good at this. She has to like keep up with Martin, who at the time is one of the funniest people on earth. And she does that. She's really good at it. And she's multi-talented, very good singer and shit too.
And man, as we're heading into fall, like I'm going to try my hardest, Matt, to not dig too deep in the Martin bag because we are touching on season 2. And man, this is the season. 'Tis the season with the CD player. This is the season where they get stranded at the Detroit bus stop. at the bus station. This is the season where John Witherspoon comes to visit for Thanksgiving, and Not My Mama Bird. All like these are the hits,
Damn, Gina, why you kill my mama bird, Gina?
and like you
You ain't
gotta
gotta worry about that, Gina. You gotta worry about mama getting a slice. Dude, his freak out as the mom when she finds out the bird's dead and is running back and forth is one of the most obscenely long and hilarious comedic things of all time. He's so good at physical comedy, dude. It's so funny. Everything like Chilligan's Island didn't happen in that season, but you're right, dude. Season 2 might be it.
like when you got the CD player like that. To me, one of the funniest moments in TV history, man.
Cole, sit your ass down.
Yeah, in the episode we're going to cover, man, this is one of the to me one of the more iconic ones, because it has one of the most well-known one-off characters because you never see Pretty Ricky Fontaine ever again.
No, it's one and done. Pretty Ricky, what they called him.
Yeah,
I mean, that's iconic in it. What a quotable. I remember that 20 some years later, Steve.
for sure, man. Like I think it also has this is also the season where Gina goes to the hair salon and works for Shanae, I believe. Yeah.
It's got the
You gotta
sign.
go to work on time.
Oh my gosh, dude! Oh, what a good show! How it never won. How it hasn't been given every award on earth for just how great it was. Just in now, just do it after the fact because it's so good.
Hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Lauryn Hill CDs and your posters of Laura Winslow. If you want to smoke tree on my balcony, play Nintendo with Steve and Matt G. Pick up my phone, say, Pop, I'm not home. Sex all night, mad hair in the moan. Spin my V, smoke all my weed. Tattoo all titties saying Steve and G. Now check it. You want to be my main squeeze, baby? Don't you? You want to give me what I need, baby? Don't you? Oh,
Oh,
baby, baby. Today, my friend, we're talking all things August 29th, man. In the 90s, Chico. Starting off in 1992, Martin is airing season 2, episode 2, Really, Gina is Not My Lover. Martin tries to impress his old schoolmates at his high school reunion, but things go wrong when Gina arrives looking terrible after a day at the dentist. Damn, Gina!
what happened to you? Uh, right away, Steve, we get one of the great side characters of Martin, Shanae. And she's coming back to her place because she lives right across the way from Martin and bumps into Pam and Gina, who, not a great relationship. Uh, she calls them Nosy and Snoop Dogg.
So cantankerous, man.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're always getting punked. Pam always stands up to Shanae, but it always seems like Gina's like little intimidated.
Well, and Shanae's coming in hot on a high personally because she just won the Golden Weave Award for some really high quality wig work that she did. So,
Yeah.
she's a winner. She goes in, and Shanae's like, Pam, I saw that movie, The Crying Game. Okay, but you're not fooling me
Pull
with
that
the
weed.
lip. Check the net. But how dare you, Shanae?
Yeah, Tashina Arnold deserves
God,
better.
what a beautiful, beautiful woman. Tashina, you just got two huge fans here that just would love to talk to you sometime.
And this is a classic theme song. This is my favorite version. We're still in the OG Martin intro. Man,
My my Yeah, dude. Everything about it's classic. The graphics, the little looks that everyone's given to the camera and stuff. That awesome leather jacket that he has on, and the when it cuts to him, all of it.
This is just vintage '90s. It's just take me back. Opening scene, man. We see Martin. He's getting ready for his high school reunion, and Gina, you know, she comes out. She's like, I don't know what the big deal is, anyways. Well, it's a big deal to Martin because he's like, all the people couldn't get with, all the people who stole your money, people who stole your girl.
He's like, I wasn't always a Mac, Gina.
I wasn't always the man.
Oh my god, yeah. Back in the day, Ricky Fontaine, Pretty Ricky, what they called him, took his girl, and he's a little salty about it, see. But what he explains to Gene is that the reason it's a big deal is this is when you get to front on all those suckers. Okay, you get to go there with an agenda of revenge and get yours. And I applaud this kind of behavior, Steve. I love
Oh
this.
yes, the power of petty. Everybody loved him and hated me, Gina. And he wants his baby to be there with him because that's his trophy. And he said that with you by my side, there's nothing stopping me from being man of the decade.
But he needs her to look top notch, Steve. So, he's got her a little sesh at Juanita's bumper curl to get the hair weave just or whatever she's gonna get. And he's also got her a little trip to the dentist. She's like, I don't know, my teeth are great. And he's like, Gina, look at that. And he shows her, I guess she drinks a little too much coffee, Steve.
Yeah,
I mean, damn. So he's got her a little whitening appointment too at the dentist. He's pulling out all the stops because he has to walk in the man, Steve.
got a feeling you're gonna be a showstopper, Janae.
Dude, when she pop locks like booty shakes into the bedroom at the end, that shit was hilarious. Also, it's great.
Rerun crowd.
Oh yeah. And later we see Martin. Uh, he's making a payback list, Steve. He's got the pen and pad out. There's no phone. There's no notes. And Cole and Tommy are in his apartment with him, and they're going through the old yearbook, reminiscing, Steve.
Yeah, I'm making a payback list, Cole, and you're not on it. And versus Keisha, and they were like, "Isn't that the girl that left you for Ricky Fontaine?" Yeah, pretty Ricky with that. Then they
And
talk about, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, then they see, Tommy sees somebody. I think her name's Vanessa
Yeah,
in the yearbook, and they're like, "Man, whatever happened to her, man?" And he's like, "Man, I was trying to get with it, but Pretty Ricky's older brother Chico stole her from me." Pretty Chico, what they called him. So apparently, this is just a just a family of just girl stealers, Steve.
fuck the
So,
Fontaines.
but Tommy's going too. He's got his own little agenda. He ain't with Pam yet, so he's like, maybe I can make a little love connection with the old flame. See what's up with Vanessa.
See where her head's at, and see what that head talking about. And Pam, she comes in. She's there to see Cole, and he needs to sign a contract. Basically, they have an agreement that Pam's going to show up as his date, as his boo. What's on the plate for her is that she gets a round trip to anywhere she wants. Because Cole, I believe he works for one of the airlines. He's like a
Yeah,
janitor or something like that.
I think he does the bags, but I guess he got, he'll hook it up with the ticket. He's got a discount. And, you know, he's like looking at the contract. He's like, there's a lot of demands on this. I could just get Big Shirley to come. I don't need all this.
Yeah,
I don't need to pay for a plane ticket. I can just pay for a 5 or a 10 piece or whatever. And Pam's like, can Big Shirley fit into this? And I would sign my goddamn soul away, Steve, to have a night with Pam in that dress. I
round
gotta
trip
be
it is.
honest. Yeah, exactly. Where? I don't care. Space. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Venus, you want to go to Dubai?
I have good credit right now, so I think I can get a credit card enough that I can pay for that. Give me a sec.
And then Gina pops up. Martin opens up the door, and he's just like, "Damn,
God damn! She looks like she got in a fight, Steve. I mean, she looks like Riddick Bowe just did a 1-2 piece on her.
He even asked her, "Baby, did you get jacked?"
It's the most important day of his life, Steve. I mean, he's sitting there having a panic attack in his apartment, like, why, God? And I love it when the door opens, you're like, maybe I should have just waited a second. I'll give you like more time. He makes some joke about that, but yeah. And Gina's turns out everything went wrong, Steve. You know, she got fucking. What happened with her? What happened to her? What happened? Explain it.
Doctor gave me an avocado mask. But baby, you were allergic to avocados. I know. And then the dentist hit a nerve with the Novocaine.
Oh, damn. And he's like, well, you know what? Damn. You can just stay here, okay? She's like, do you want me to go? He's like, I love, she starts like drooling and he has to get like a magazine. He's like, ah. Uh.
I feel like that was an improv moment, showing his like,
Yeah. Girl, you're
his,
leaking.
his timing, man. He's a comedic genius, bro. Um, yeah, he catches the slobber with the magazine, and when she asks him, "Are you sure?" Like, baby, I've never been so sure in my life.
She's like, I guess I'll just take some painkillers and see you tonight when you get home. And he just leaves, but he's just like, damn.
Give me some sugar. Oh, give me some dab. Yeah.
So then we're at the reunion, Steve. I mean, and again, I just got to say, going into it, I love the thinking, Martin. If I had the nuts to do this, I would do this. I would, Steve. I would. I'm not. I don't think I'm that petty, but it just looks so fun.
Oh,
So
I know I'm petty. That's why I'm just being there. And Tommy, he's coming there looking for Vanessa, but Martin, he's there looking for all the smoke. First victim, Clarence Baker. Remember me, Martin Payne?
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. With the big, I used to climb my big ears. Now I got the number one radio station in all of Detroit. Yeah, so
You still selling them tapes out the back of your car? Man, that's just oh, Clarence, it's not temporary. It's a damn job, and everyone knows it. If you
yeah,
get
hook
that
me up.
new Luther,
Yeah.
I heard it's kicking.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Check. He cuts him off the list. He's got his little list. He's checking it off, Steve, and I love that. But then Tommy, he's out here hunting, Steve, and there's Vanessa right there. He sees her. She's looking fine.
Principal Greer from Steve Harvey, man.
And he approaches, and Vanessa remembers him. They even have their little okay or whatever whatever it was. I forget what it was. They got their own little thing that they remember. It's cute,
Your
but
curl caught on fire in chemistry class. Yeah, it's not coming back.
um, little bit of she's a little red flag right as we kind of cut away from that, where she's like in recovery, or she's like, I don't drink anymore. I had a little issue with that, and we're like, oh, okay. And then we cut to Martin again. um it's a little later, and he's dancing with Keisha, and Keisha is somebody who left him in the lurch, and she's like, you know what, man, Ricky left me after 5 days. He's like, oh, you don't say. And then they keep dancing, and she's like, man, I should have just stick with you. You're so cool and stuff. She's giving him all these props, and he's like, so let me get this straight. Pretty Ricky left you in the dust after a week. Your ex-husband's in jail for bad meats? Bad meat. Like, what was that? I'd love to know what that was. Uh, and he's like, you're wondering why you weren't dating me before, like picked me or whatever. So Keisha's off the list. He leaves her just with a slack jaw on the dance floor, Steve.
Yeah, he's basically like Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison, man. You cut back to Tommy, and he's trying to get away expeditiously. And Vanessa's just like, "You're not gonna leave me like all the rest, are you, Tommy?"
Baby, it's fine. I mean, she's pouring sugar. It's just psychotic. Everything about it's crazy. Thank God this. I mean, this is scary. This could happen to anyone, Steve, especially a woman that fine. Get wrangled in with the looks, and then you're like, this woman's batshit insane. Okay, this is a problem. This is a problem.
Ricky.
uh, and then Martin gets a couple other guys. I think Dante, Kenny, and Lester. He just walks them off. I don't even clock what he said, but he leaves them, with a little hatred. And then Ricky Fontaine walks in, Steve.
Yeah, it
And
can't skip over Cole. Like this is like his only appearance
oh yeah,
at the reunion where he's just trying to flex. He's like, yeah, got a long night of love making ahead of me. And then Pam shows up. She gives him a drink. He's like, this ain't cold enough. I said more ice.
I can, dude. She throws a little. She throws a little in his face, but then just gives a nice smash to the cup right in the grill, just to really just make him feel like shit. And she leaves. She's like, I can't stand it, and she just leaves. Off in the night. Cole's running. I forget what he says on the way out, but
That's right.
know.
Run, damn it.
Yeah. And he leaves her. He's gone. So Pretty Ricky's here. What's the guy? It's Juana Man, but what's that guy's name, Steve?
Miguel Nunez.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's a legend.
For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, guy's flexing hard. He comes in, he sees Martin. He's like, "Oh, if it isn't little squeaky deaky Martin over here, Martin Payne, what you doing with your little ass?"
I mean, number one radio show in all of Detroit. Oh yeah, I caught your little show at the car wash. They were detailing my Porsche. Oh really? With the VW engine? Is it still in your mama's name?
He says something about his girl, and Martin's like, "You better run home because she might need your eyeliner back," or whatever. He says something like,
You a wild boy, just like your sister on Sunday.
"Yeah, dude." So they have like a flex off in front of the school, which is hilarious because you guys are like 30 years old. I mean, this is sad.
And people are like behind him, like hyping him up. Yeah. Oh!
uh, and at one point, Martin just lays down. He's talking about his just having a lot of money, Steve, which like pockets stay swole. I wrote a check last week and the bank the bank bounced. And then, as he's getting it, Steve. He's getting some adoration. He's getting over on Pretty Ricky. It's pretty, this might be neck and neck, but then in walks Gina, Steve. She crashes in like a goddamn car accident. And she just looks like she took too many of those pills, Steve. Something happened.
It's like Pretty Ricky's like, what in the hell is that? Man, crazy fans love me, man. I gotta go see what's up. And, boy,
And then, and then as he's like helping Gina, because she's like, I had to be here for my man. He's like, hey man, yeah. And he's like, yo, I mean, I love you taking care of a fan, but what's going on? Like everyone's starting to realize that might not be a fan, Steve.
you do an awful lot for your fans, man. Well, I do what I can. You got the jacket, didn't you? Matter of
And,
fact, you got a pair of dice on your nose, man.
and he's like, oh, he leaves. Tommy runs up because now Martin's like, we got to get out of here. We got fuck all of it. Fuck this man of the year shit. I got it all. I mean, everything's good. Let's get out. But as they're leaving, Tommy connects and he's like, we got to get the fuck out of here because Vanessa's got a knife.
Yeah.
We're already to that stage of the relationship. So they're trying to leave, but as they're leaving, Clarence comes up. It's time to announce the man of the year, Steve. There's no pomp, no circumstance, just boring ass Clarence just coming up like, yeah, everybody, it's time to announce the man of the year. All right. Okay. And it's Martin Payne.
Yeah. He said it like confused, like, what?
But Martin's like, was on the way out, but he just basically drops everything, leaves Gina's dead ass with Tommy and goes up to accept his award, Steve, and rightfully so.
It's
But
reminds me
this
of the
speech,
Haters Ball.
This speech is the greatest. This is the speech, Steve. This is the speech that I would want to give.
Y'all didn't even like me then, and you damn sure don't like me now.
Let's go. And he just storms out. He fucked the Man of the Year award. But then Pretty Ricky goes in on Gina, Steve. And you can't do that.
Hold up. This girl ain't no supermodel. This elephant woman thing looking over here,
He-
you, you need to apologize to my girl. She need to apologize to Pretty Ricky. This is pure, unadulterated ugliness. Now, how the yeah,
Pop! Martin don't stand for that. He knocks Pretty Ricky out and takes his woman in his arms. They're leaving. And as they're leaving, Gina, just because she's so proud of her man, she has to turn her around and give the crowd a whole unintelligible rant, Steve, of epic proportion. But, you get the vibe. She's sticking up for Martin, and I love that.
you ain't gonna talk about my man. You can kiss my ass. Like that's
Dude, classic episode, dude. And also just another shout out to Miguel Nunez because that guy is a 90. I mean, he's still a legend probably, but he was just like not the main guy in a lot of stuff, but the funniest thing in a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
you've seen Harlem Nights, haven't you?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, he was a part of Arsenio's crew where they're outside shooting at Eddie Murphy. You broke my nose, man. Brrr. Stop it. Stop shooting.
Yeah, dude. I mean, people like Joanna, man. That movie's fine, and he's funny in it. But he was just in he was a funny character in a lot of movies. And I feel like he might have even been in The Wash, Steve. I might be mistaken.
He's usually in some kind of ensemble type casting, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whole, but shout out to Martin, dude. What a show. And I'm glad now that at least now, years too late, they finally have it on streamers to watch in full, and I don't have to just put a DVD in because you couldn't get it forever. It's
Forever.
crazy.
Don't let it go, Max. The power
Don't.
is yours. That following year, WWF is airing SummerSlam 94 from the newly built United Center in Chicago, Illinois. The Bears.
Dude, that's it. This is one of the first things they did in the United Center, isn't it?
It is, man, where the Bulls will eventually continue their legacy. And I love how we get a little dose of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, he's just like the macho hype man. He just comes in, just lets you know what's going. It's like a telethon almost, where he's just keeping you updated. Yeah, Chicago, I love it. He's decked out in Macho's
Oh, yeah.
finest.
Bling
Neon
blah.
green pants with the shiny gold frilled jacket and cowboy hat, Steve. Only a pimp's tailor could make such a thing, and it looks good, Steve.
The one and only, man. And also Vince and Jerry Lawler on the ones and twos. Not my favorite pairing, but hearing Vince McMahon on pay-per-views, man, it just brings back good memories. By the way, the day we're recording this is the man's birthday. So happy B-Day to the GOAT. I know like he might not be the most morally healthy human being, but again, from the department of the redundancy department, don't know what my life would be like without the man. So happy birthday.
People like Woody Allen, Steve. We can like Vince still,
Thank you.
Come on. Yeah, happy birthday, Vince. God bless. Um, but yeah, I love the macho hype, man. He'll come back a couple of times and it's fantastic. They just said, Randy's got to get paid. He'll come out, he'll do 5 minutes, go back and do a couple of lines, and then we get right to the matches, Steve. And the first one, Bam Bam Bigelow and Erwin R. Shyster, who are part of Ted DiBiase's $1 million team, I guess. I don't know if Bam Bam's necessarily, is he part of the squad?
The $1 million corporation, yeah,
Yeah.
it's Bam Bam, IRS, Nikolai Volkov, and I think Crush joined eventually. Yokozuna would be a part of it, I believe. But yeah, Ted DiBiase, he's doing some triple duty in this pay per view. Man, he's coming in and out of different matches, being a part of various storylines, and they're facing the Head Shrinkers, Fatu, the Future, Rikishi, and Samu with Alpha, R.I.P., and Lou Albano. I understand Gina when she got shot with the Novocaine more than anything Captain Lou Albano says in this.
I mean, what happened between Super Mario Brothers, the TV show, and this? Because you could at least understand his ass in that. Here, it's I was like, dude, did somebody literally give you a roofie or something? You're just out here just going nuts. But I love Captain Lou, Steve. He's an
Of
old
course,
school guy. I wish I had. I like the vibe. I want to be Captain Lou when I'm that old.
the
Unless he was
rubber
a piece
band
of
daddy.
shit. I don't know. But um, yeah, dude, Ted DiBiase's out here, which I love. I love IRS too. Now I'm seeing him again. He's fun. You know, he's a good villain.
He's a good heel, and to me, his greatest accomplishment or greatest thing he added to the game was his son, Bray Wyatt. Like I was a big fan of Bray Wyatt, and ironically, today was the day he passed. So R.I.P. to Bray.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, man. IRS though, like he served his purpose. Um, it's interesting to see like these future attitude era stars, and some of them are a part of this SummerSlam. Like that's what I liked about doing back to back SummerSlams. Like last week we did 99. This week it's 94, man. And Rikishi, I don't think he was a part of SummerSlam 99, but seeing him as a part of the Head Shrinkers and the evolution of him becoming I think he was like another character before he became Rikishi, and some of these other guys being involved.
Yeah, didn't he come out with some kind of like weird? It was like a mask almost
He
shit with
was
like a eye hole thing cut out of it.
super weird. I can't remember the name of it.
Was he the Sultan? Maybe it was like maybe something Middle Eastern.
it was something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Rikishi though, what did he do to put all the fat in his ass? Because they literally all went there. Steve, he's the same. You can see it in his face. His face is the same. His midsection's basically the same. But his fuck, he put on like 100 pounds of ass and legs. It's weird.
man.
It's
I
weird.
I will say, head shrinkers, great hair. Like I would hate to see
Yeah.
him in a dark alley, but I would take grooming tips from them at the same time.
I mean, they're tough sons of bitches too. They're big dudes. They're Samoans. Um, yeah, I would not want to see them in a dark alley for sure, for sure. But I gotta say, they're not the fattest people in this match. Bam Bam Bigelow by far is the fattest person in this match, but somehow the most agile person in this match also, which is so cool. It's crazy.
Yeah, we touched on that before, man, where he kind of has that Chris Farley vibe. Like you're big, but you're acrobatic, man. And I think at one point he tries to hit like a top rope move and he misses, but the fact that he could just pull that off, because this was a time where you don't see guys his size getting on the top rope ever.
He pulls off some kind of spinning, like jumping kick too, where I was like, that is crazy. That guy's like, maybe he has to be 400 some pounds at least. He's huge. But yeah, that is cool, dude. But I like his vibe, and then like that guy hangs out with $1 Million Man. The weird biker guy gets to hang out with the $1 Million team, but it's a good opening match. I feel like it's not too crazy. I don't really, other than this whack ass thing the head shrinkers did, where it was like a double team move where they like did a face smash, but it just came off. It was like so sloppy. It was hilarious. I don't even think the guy hit it like the ground, but they had to like play it off. Um, but hell yeah, dude. And I don't know IRS now. I used to hate his guts, but now I'm like that guy's big and he's just kind of fun to watch.
And at some point, the head shrinkers they get their finisher off, but DiBiase distracts the ref, and Alpha he gets in there and he starts attacking either IRS or it was one of them.
Yeah, and then like just a brawl ensues, and you're not really sure what's happening, and people get like separated, and then like way too far after like all this happened, they're like, ding, ding, ding. Um, the head shrinkers lost because Alpha came in and hit somebody DQ. I was like, okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was still a good match.
Yeah, and that doesn't stop them because they're still fighting all the way to the back.
Yeah.
And after that, you have a Leslie Nielsen vignette. All right, Pizza, that legend, man. And a couple guys stop him in the hallway and they're like, "Hey, buddy, first of all, my name's not Buddy. You're Lloyd Bridges. How dare you?"
Yeah, dude, fuck those guys. Yeah, but it's like a little thing they got. You know, he's doing some detective work behind the scenes, trying to figure out this whole Undertaker situation that's coming, that's brewing right now. You know, there's a lot of questions, a lot of intrigue, and he's on the case.
And he sees a silhouette of Undertaker, but it's not Undertaker. It's Leslie's Naked Gun co-star, George Kennedy. And his
George,
name's not Buddy either.
George, what are you doing here?
We're both on the case.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Leslie just had to get a bag, Steve. That's really all that is.
Yeah, I found it ironic that they have George Kennedy, they got Leslie Nielsen, and this is the same summer that their other co-star had a very busy summer. He wasn't available, if you know what I mean.
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
They needed something to think about, Steve, because they knew. OJ had been calling them for a while about certain issues that he was having.
Hey, both, you ain't returning my both.
But then we go to a match. You know, I was kind of skeptical of this, but we'll get to it. It's a WWF Women's Championship match early in the 90s here, and it's Alundra Blaze, who is the champion, I believe, fighting a one Bull Nakano, who's escorted by A1 Luna Vachon, Steve.
She makes another appearance. And with Luna, her vibe never changed.
Ah!
Just one gear. Early 90s, late 90s, don't matter.
It's like Mac's mom and It's Always Sunny if she was on cocaine or something. It's just like insanity. But what I like about Luna is she has Bull Nakano. And I don't know what Bull Nakano looked like before Luna got involved with her. But I think whatever Luna has is contagious because now Bull Nakano has crazy, insane hair and veins painted all over her face. So that might be like a disease that's communicable that Luna's passing on, and I don't like that for her. But um, Alundra Blaze comes out, Steve, and you know I think this is somebody who I'm not as familiar with. I don't remember Alundra, but one thing I do remember now and forever is Alundra Blaze has got a booty that just won't quit, Steve.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
insane.
Alundra, she's bodied up, and she would eventually be Medusa in WCW. And I'm sure you've seen the viral clip of her throwing that very belt. Yeah. Um, Bull Nakano, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm a sucker for thunder thighs and
Yeah,
body.
dude. Yeah.
You you rarely see an Asian woman that thick.
She's like the muscle in this match. All her moves are first of all, she actually has a catalog, an impressive catalog of actual wrestling moves. Alundra Blaze is not a good wrestler. She's like one of those like wow wrestlers that have like three signature moves. They got the old school like the Tim Duncan wrestling moves down pat, but they don't got a lot else. Um, Bull Nakano, she's pulling off. Well, she does like a pretty stereotypical thing in a lot of women's fights with the hair throwing, like
Toss, yeah,
the ratchet toss. But dude, she's doing crazy like twisting her up like a pretzel and like in a
yeah.
standing position, doing like crazy leg drops and a lot of cool wrestling moves. So like at the beginning of this, I was like, man, this is let's get to after this. But by the end of this, I was like, this actually is a pretty good match for Bull Nakano. Alundra Blaze is just eye candy, Steve. I'm sorry, Alundra. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're bodied up. But a
She's
wrestler, I mean, come on.
She did pull off a great Hurricane Rana, which was like you didn't hardly see women doing something that athletic in the early '90s. Um, And that move that you talked about with Bull Nakano, it was like a four-leaf clover meets lion tamer. I ain't never seen that shit for either.
Dude, I mean, I was like, what the fuck is she doing? Is she gonna do like some kind of crazy power bomb move or something? But no, she just was like stretching her out, which that was crazy. But dude,
Yeah.
she loses this match by doing a top rope leg drop, getting air with those big ass legs, and she pancakes right on that beautiful voluptuous ass, Steve. And I got to assume that she did some spinal damage because she she falls straight on her tailbone. It's pulverized.
And that gives Alundra Blaze the opportunity to come from behind and give her a back suplex. Gets the pin, keeps the belt, and don't go throwing them in trash cans, you hear?
It costs money. Hear that, Alundra Blaze? You pieces of shit. But Alundra Blaze, beautiful. I forgot she existed. I didn't remember women's wrestling like pre Sable and all that stuff. I forgot about like sort of this more old school stuff that was going on. And she is
Yeah.
gorgeous, dude. When
Yeah.
she's entering the ring, I was like, this is like a goddamn rap poster. They had like the perfect angle. It was like her ass cheek was eclipsing like the light behind. It was like behind it. So it was just like a silhouette of just booty cheek. It was great. So God bless.
Hitting those Suzanne Summer workouts. And
Yeah.
backstage, we got Todd Pettengill with the dudes with attitude, HBK and Diesel. This is, oh man.
I like Sean takes a lot. He's just taking a lot of credit for. He's like, as soon as Sean gets involved, we got the tag titles. We've had the Me and Diesel have both had the Intercontinental title combined whatever weeks. Even though Diesel's the current champion, but you know he's got to get the fact that he also held that belt too, Steve, because they're a team.
Mr. I hit it first. And Diesel, like he's finally showing his his wit because for the first couple months he was just mute. He wouldn't say anything. Just his presence spoke for itself. But he's got great mic work for a giant, man. And he was just like, I should have the Midas touch because everything I touch turns to gold.
Yeah, dude, it's big sexy, dude.
And
And
I
I
think
love that he has on his tights Big Daddy Cool on the tights. I mean, that's ballers, dude.
got to represent. And we find out that Razor Ramon's going to be accompanied by the late great Walter Payton, and HBK even has a statement for that. He was like, "Oh yeah, they call you sweetness. Well, you two are going to be oh so bitter. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, but this is the match, Steve. If you were trying to sell me on the pay per view, I'm coming to watch this. The outsiders going toe to toe,
oh
two of
yeah."
my favorite wrestlers in a match. Um, yeah, and honestly, Razor Ramon, the look, the razor blades on the green neon green tights, the white boots are a little much for me. But this
They
is
were like
he's
teal. They were kind of like tealish.
okay. They looked white to me. Maybe I'm colorblind, but both of these guys, this is like their pinnacle of like physically. I feel like this is when they were at their best. This is a great match.
And it's even more fun to watch knowing in hindsight that all three of those guys are like best friends.
Hell yeah. And that's where I was kind of thinking like all the stuff they're doing, like big dicking each other and stuff, when they get on the ground and have to when they, I'm assuming, are communicating with each other and stuff, like, dude, we're killing this. Like, here, do this. It's just as cool when you're thinking. I wish there was some way that you could hear, like, they had them mic'd up and you could listen to that as like a commentary track or something where you could hear how the sausage is made, you know?
Like they do with NFL or something.
Yeah, I just think that'd be so cool. But yeah, dude, Diesel versus Razor Ramon. But I'm on Team Razor. I'm not a huge Bears fan, but everyone loves Walter Payton, dude. It's sweetness.
I mean, you could argue the greatest running back of all time. I would probably lean more towards either Jim Brown or Barry, but you have a strong argument for Walter, man. And I feel like this isn't talked about enough because you're showing up with Walter Payton in United City in Chicago. That is huge. That is huge.
And
In
shout out to
Chicago,
Walton Payton, the shirt Walter Payton has, because I was always too fat to wear that Razor Ramon shirt, and I wish I had it because it's so cool. I want that shirt.
it's still to this day, man. And I kind of feel like Walter didn't fully understand the assignment because in the beginning of this match, Shawn Michaels is talking his shit, playing up his character, and seems like he's kind of punking Walter. And Walter, he's just, he's not used to this world. I kind of felt like he should have been, yeah, he's like, no, man, I don't want no smoke. Like, no, dude, you're sweetness. You in
Get in
Chicago.
there and spear his ass.
Yeah, talk some shit.
Yeah, dude. Sean definitely gets over on sweetness in Chicago, which I'm sure there's plenty of Chicagoans that are like, fuck that Shawn Michaels, that fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
How dare you talk to sweetness like that? But Razor comes out swinging, Steve. And Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, those punches he throws, it's full extension. It's a great punch. Both these guys have great punches. Kevin Nash does too, but I just am a huge Razor Ramon fan. I can't say good enough shit about the guy.
Hall or Nash? You're leaning more towards Hall, right?
I'm a Hall guy. I got to go pick between them, it's tough. I like both of them, and obviously Hall or Nash has the Ninja Turtles cred that Hall doesn't. But dude, everything about him, he's using machismo, Steve. I don't know what better way I can say it. So I just bought into it when I was a kid, and it still is cool. It's a fucking fake Scarface character. I love it.
Hey y'all. And
Dude,
as expected, Shawn Michaels is just interfering all throughout this match. He's more involved with the match than Diesel.
yeah. I mean, there's some back and forth. He keeps poking Walter Payton a bunch ringside, and he'll get like chased away. But again, like you said, it's kind of confusing because Walter's he's not being aggressive at all. He looks like he's running away most of the time.
Being too
Um,
nice.
yeah, but eventually, dude, at one point, Shawn Michaels pulls off like a running like clothesline outside the ring to hit Hall, and
Yeah.
it was dope. That looked fucking cool as hell. And when he's up to his antics and he does stuff and like he'll like hit a guy and then turn his head around and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Acting all like casual and stuff. He's such a good heel, dude.
He is, especially this era, Sean. And at one point, Razor catches him on the apron. He punches Sean. Sean like leaps off the apron, turns around, hits the rail, and like he taps into his Ric Flair with the dramatics. You
Yeah,
see,
dude.
yeah,
He always and he's when he would do that, he had a bunch of moves for that. Like when he'd flip over the turnbuckle, if somebody threw him at it extra hard, he'd run and do the Ric Flair thing. Yeah, dude. He is the best. I mean, we talked about it, and I fully endorse what I've said before is that he's the best wrestler of all time. For everything, the actual wrestling and the mic skills, it's him and The Rock. And
mm.
I feel like he's better than The Rock.
And you said that before to me. I would not expect that from you, man. I like there's so many other people that I would expect you to say before him. I respect it because Shawn Michaels is that dude. He is that dude. And I think for me, man, Bret Hart, watching it as a kid, I just thought he was such a jerk. And I didn't like the jerk wrestlers. I didn't appreciate him until I became an adult, really.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, he's so mean. He's just being mean. Why is he so mean? I don't like it.
Stop it. Yeah,
Stop
but
it.
he's so funny to watch. He's great. He's involved even though he's not in the match. Um, he punks a Hall of Fame football player in his own city, which is baller, if you're a fan of his. And unfortunately, though, he gets a little too involved, Steve, because at a certain point, he gets in. He has Diesel holding Hall, and he's about to deliver a super kick to Hall's chops, but Hall gets out of the way. Diesel takes the kick and gets knocked out and loses the match, Steve, and that title. So he's one piece of gold down. Razor wins that. Shout out to Scott Hall for that. But I don't know if this is the first time, but this is setting off a little bit of bad blood between Shawn Michaels and Diesel here because Diesel's a little perturbed, Steve.
Yeah, man. I had two straps. Now I just got one. You see the rift As they're walking to the back,
Get
man.
back here, man. Sean's like, hey, man, it's cool, man. What? Shut up. Let's go back and
And
party.
and the celebration in the ring was pretty cool. You know, you got two legends in their own right, no longer with us. You got Walter Payton with Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, and Walter Payton's son Jared, who would eventually be a star for the Miami Hurricanes. And you know, he played in that championship game against Ohio State. I don't know if he went to the league. He might have got drafted, but yeah, I just thought that was a great image seeing, you know, Walter in Chicago, United Center with his son, and Razor, man, one of my favorites.
Dude, Razor got a huge pop from the crowd when he came out. And it wasn't just because of Walter Payton either. When he came out, everybody was like, I love it, dude.
It's a stud, man. And back to Macho Man. This event didn't get enough of Randy, in my opinion. But
I'm
he's just like HBK. I don't want to be you for all the money in the world. Mm-hmm.
Give me another line, brother. Fucking, he's in the middle of a coke blackout or what I call a whiteout. And then we cut to Todd Pettengill, he's got this is rare, Steve. Two guys who are about to fight each other in an interview together, head to head, and it's Tatanka, it's Lex Luger, and heavy accusations from Tatanka about Lex Luger possibly selling out to the Macho Man.
Oh
Um,
man, he's been nipping at his tail for a while. Pause. And like this is very weird. It's like Tatanka was being just nosy, like a nosy neighbor, and just like you're a sellout. Like that's the
No,
angle.
no. Why'd you have that? Where'd that bag come from? Where'd that bag come? Why were you hanging out with Ted in the Applebee's after that one thing, bro? What were you doing, bro? Like,
Like, bro,
and fucking Lex Luger's like, no, not true. I'm
it's
gonna
not
just,
true,
I
man.
suck at, I suck at mic work. It's not true.
Really
That's
does.
it. I mean, when Tatanka's doing you like just running circles around you, something's wrong, Lex. The best thing he ever did is go, "I'm pissed now." That
Yeah,
was true. That was like real emotion. So
dude. Tatanka standing next to Lex Luger, he looks like Ric Flair, bro. And he has all the receipts. Yeah, but back in March you did this, and then what about on Monday Night Raw? Man, I saw you coming out of his locker room, and then in April, like, bro, get a life,
man,
Tatanka.
you got that. We had that Heineken 24 pack that we went twosies on, and all of a sudden you come back and there's only 6 beers left. Who drank all the beers? Who drank all the beers, Lex? You sold out, Lex. He says, but here's one thing I will say, Steve. You know, Lex Luger, he used to be the narcissist. He's a very patriotic, the all American. I forget what he is. Um, he's bodied up. He's a bodybuilder. Tatanka, he's bodied the fuck up, dude. I mean, he's shorter, but he can hold his own visually against the Lex Luger. I didn't remember him being so ripped up like that.
He's still in pretty good shape for his age, man. You know, he's pretty active on social media, and I will say his theme song bores me. I just felt like if it was the same guy that did all the classics, Jim Johnston, maybe for this one he got bored because it's just yee 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 down 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 down. It's just
Yeah.
your standard, like, yeah, could have done without it.
How do we make this all existing song Native American? Throw the little yelling thing in there. Cool. There you go. Hey, did anybody know where that sexual chocolate theme song went? Dude, and also I love how Vince has to call you can't just call Tatanka the Native American Tatanka. It's the Native American. I mean, I get it, Vince. We get it. Okay. If the turquoise and the beads didn't fucking give us the tip, we get it. Okay.
He's trying to
10,
reach.
10 Tatankas in, you can let it go. All right.
He's losing that demographic. He does his homework.
Yeah, dude. But Tatanka is very butthurt about this whole selling out thing. And I'm kind of on Team Tatanka, not only just because I don't like Lex Luger, but after seeing Lex Luger in this, and maybe we've pointed this out before, it's a very petty thing. Fuck Lex Luger and his little ass nipples that he has, Steve. I don't know why I was looking at it, but I was like, this guy has obscenely small nipples. It's disgusting.
Dude, I was like of all things, man. Oh my, that is God level petty right there.
I mean, I can't
Hey, so
help it.
nipples, huh?
Your little ass nipples, punk.
Fuck you.
I'm
Oh,
bodied up. I don't care. Them shits is like dimes. The
pussy ass.
steroids shrink your little ass nipples, bitch.
I'm with you
Um,
though. I didn't clock the nipples. Now I they got my attention, and I
yeah,
don't like the whole everything about it. It's he's a bland character, like you said. He
yeah.
doesn't have mic work. The whole patriotic thing. It's the '90s now. You can't just like sell us the whole. Oh, let's beat those Russians. Like it's the '90s now. We don't care. We don't have any countries that were a threat to us in this time. So
And
it's like
all
yes,
these guys have muscles. Like you ain't the only motherfucker with. You gotta at least be able to say some shit or do some outlandish shit other than lift a heavy human being. Because I've seen it. I'm glad you lifted Yokozuna. That was cool. I saw Hulk Hogan lift Andre the Giant. You know what I mean? So you gotta step it up. And switching from the narcissist to just having a flag on your undies and just having your nips out and your fucking bullshit demeanor, I'm just over it, Lex.
and
I'm
that was the
over it.
thing. Like I feel like Vince wanted him to be the replacement for Hogan. Let's put the whole patriotic thing behind it. But what you overlooked was Hogan actually has charisma. He actually had some one-liners that you couldn't wait to hear. Let me tell you something, brother, or let me tell you something, Mean Gene, or something. What you gonna do?
It
Like you don't.
wasn't even good, but you know what it was, Steve? It was rehearsed, and he's pulled it off well. He wasn't like, you know what, man? Like, it seems like Lex Luger was trying to riff, and it's like, bro, you can't improv. You clearly can't. You can't think on your feet. So either get a script or find a character that can't speak. Do something where you're a mute something. I don't know. Pick it
Put
up,
a
but
mask on, yeah, because you
um,
look like the boss from Perfect Strangers too. I think we talked about that before.
he does kind of. That's hilarious. But I was down on this match. I don't like either of these guys that much. Tatanka, it's fine. It was whatever. It's whatever. Not a huge fan. But I gotta say, Steve, they pulled a 1-2 on this where I came to the conclusion of this match before it happened where I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool if this happened. And what I thought was what happened. So I got to applaud the storytelling here because this match is going on. It's blase, obviously. We got Luger in there. He's getting Tatanka a bunch. He gets hammered. He gets hatcheted a bunch. But a lot of that, he gets a
The
couple of those from the top rope. And then in walks $1 Million Man because there's all this, clearly somebody's sold out here. So $1 Million Man walks in. He's got cash in hand because he's the fucking $1 Million Man. He's got his little bag. He's got a little duffel bag of money like he's on a Coke deal. And he starts starting shit, Steve. Lex Luger sees the bag. He gets a little he gets infatuated with $1 Million Man. He's trying to we're trying to figure out what's going on here. And then come to find out, Steve, this has all been a big fucking scam by the $1 Million Man and Tatanka. Tatanka, he's the sellout, and he goes in. They start beating Lex Luger's ass, and now he's in the $1 Million Corporation, and I love that.
the accuser is the guilty one.
He's a
And
turncoat. They really try to thread the needle of we got to say something, but it can't be racist. But they're calling him a turncoat. It goes full anti Tatanka, but I love it, dude. He's telling the crowd to shut up. They beat the shit out of Lex Luger. They leave. They're starting to laugh, and then $1 Million Man plays a G move, and he's like, "You want to get a little more, kid?" And
yeah, get some.
Tatanka's like, "You know what? You know what, Tatanka? Go in there, beat his ass again." Tatanka goes back in. They beat his ass. They leave Lex Luger in the middle of this ring, unconscious with money stuffed in his mouth, Steve.
That yeah, that's
That's
villainy.
baller alert right there. That's it.
Tataka came to that ring like Martin came to that reunion. He wanted all the smoke because he comes back, gives him a sleeper hold. He's like, all right, I choked the fuck out of him. Then he comes back again and stomps the shit out of
$1 Million Dream, baby. He puts the boss's move on the guy. chokes him out as like almost to me as a sign of respect for the new boss, and he leaves him with a couple hundo in his mouth. Buy some new fucking bigger nipples, Lex.
Yeah.
Hit the bricks. And I love King's like, that's $100 bill.
And then backstage, we got the legend Gorilla Monsoon. He's on the phone with all the fans, and he's just like, "This is just disgusting, Tatanka. You're a disgrace to all Native Americans." You damn right, Ledge. You right. You let them all down.
But I like how he's talking on a phone, but he's also in a mic, so he's doing double duty. Where he's like, "Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, large deep dish. Tatanka's a shame. It's a shame what he's done to this nation."
Yeah.
I think he also says Chief J Strongbow's in the back, in like waiting in the wings to confront Tatanka as a member of the Native American Society, just because he's sold out to the man, basically, Steve.
Let our people down.
Fuck that. Tier. Single tier.
Now, this next match, it is an example of guys that were in the event we covered last week and completely different character. Well, one of them at least completely different, man. We got Jeff Jarrett versus Mabel, and Mabel's wearing Rod Roddy's shower curtain. I think he was Viscera, that was his name in SummerSlam '99. This time around, he's like a early '90s stereotypical rapper, and he's
Nah.
got his protege Oscar with him.
I thought it was a make a wish thing. Oscar's out there. But here's what Mabel looks like, guys. Have you ever seen Demolition Man? Have you ever seen Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man? Now picture that with it sung by every bee on earth.
From every angle.
I mean, dude, here's the thing. Mabel made it this far. He made it to the big leagues, Steve. But the guy legitimately has 5 minutes of wrestling, and the match has to end, I think. They have to call it because he can't do anything else. And this is a hilarious match, by the way. Double J in his like alien urban cowboy outfit where he's like from the future. He's like a gay stripper, but he's got the blonde locks. Um, he's got the strut, but he doesn't really have the weight, Steve. He's getting manhandled, and most of the match is him hanging onto Mabel like a little boy, trying to just like put him in a sleeper hold, which I think is hilarious. But you know,
Ain't that great?
and he does punch Oscar, who's just he's an innocent bystander, Steve. He came
Yeah.
out with a little boom bop rap that was pretty cool to bring Mabel out, but I don't think Oscar wanted that smoke, and he took one to the chops. So
Yeah, like he basically he attacked Oscar. Like he punked him, man.
yeah,
And
dude.
in the crowd, we see Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. He doesn't serve a purpose in this match. They just wanted to cut to him coming down amongst the crowd. And the guy playing Abe Knuckleball Schwartz is also the Brooklyn Brawler, amongst other
Oh,
things.
okay, all right. I remember him.
Yeah,
Greasy.
this is the cheesy era that night we're in '94. So yeah,
Also, shout out to Double J's album that's soon to drop called "Ain't I Great." Soon to be a platinum hit. But basically, just not. This is a classic little guy, fat guy match, Steve. There's a lot of a fat guy. Oh, like a lot of just that, and I'm not a fan.
and that was his style, and it was his detriment, man. Like he tried to do a big splash off the top rope, he misses that, and then at some point he tries to do like Jeff Jarrett tries to do like a schoolboy roll up when they're like ducking. One guy is crossing the ropes, and he stops. Mabel stops, and he tries to sit on him, and he misses that, and that basically gives Jeff Jarrett the opportunity for an easy pin.
That's it. That's all it takes. But Mabel, he waddles to the back to get his revenge. So give him about 20. Got to get an apple juice or something to get the blood sugar up, but he'll be there. He'll be coming for you, Double J.
Yeah,
If you don't get on the spaceship fast enough.
freaking Looney Tune stripper. And next is another Leslie Nielsen, George Kennedy vignette. And while they're talking, you see another silhouette of Undertaker showing up behind them.
Yeah, Vince fucking fucked it up. They could have seen it, but again, Leslie's getting paid per second. We just need to get him a little more money, Steve. Like I said, OJ's he's not going to be around for those sequels, so they got to figure it out.
You said that Razor and Diesel, that was the match of the night, man. I think this next one might be the match of the night. Razor and Diesel was great, but man, this is considered a SummerSlam classic. And the Bret Hart, Owen Hart, we get a recap of how all of this shit started. Owen, he came in as a face, alongside his big bro. And I think it was a Survivor Series the year prior. That's when the shit was starting to kind of crumble. He's starting to show these early signs of his jealousy, and then they cut to the Royal Rumble that following year, and it has the classic line, "That's why I kicked your leg out of your leg." One of the best clubs of all time.
I'm sick of living in your shadow, Brett. Owen's salty, dude. And now he's saying fuck the whole family, you
They
know?
turned on him.
Yeah, they're not giving him the props. But Owen's coming up, Steve. And we lost him too soon. But seeing this, I just want to say this before we even get into this match. If Brett is the greatest heart, Owen is a close second. And I would say he might be better if he would have had the full career because his mic skills and acting skills were, I mean, it's a little over the top, but he's killing. To me, it makes all the sense in the world. Like the little interviews they do where he's like, it's very like serious, but he gets like progressively more pissed off. And uh, he's good. So I don't know. I think Brett's the best, and I would have said that most of my life. But the more I see Owen, like especially as like an evil guy, he has the mic skills Brett does not.
He doesn't, and that's shown even in the recap, man. He's kind of like Lex Luger in a way, where like he's like a deer in the headlights, and he's just searching for his next word, not knowing what to say. Whereas with Owen, it's just rapid fire. He's got his character figured out, fleshed out, and he knows he's playing that jealous little brother, that like scrappy do kind of guy, and he fits it well, man.
Yeah, and leading up to this, he actually had beaten Bret Hart at I think WrestleMania 10.
Yeah,
But right after that, Bret won the world title against Yokozuna, so it sort of everyone forgot about this victory he had. And then he orchestrated some kind of a plan at King of the Ring where he won King of the Ring, and he's the King of Hearts now, Steve. That's his new thing, which I love.
he won it the year after Brett won it in '93. And he got some assistance from his brother-in-law, Jim the Anvil.
There's a moment in this that's so funny that involves Jim the Anvil Neidhart that we'll get to, but
I got a feeling I know which one you're
yeah,
talking about.
but um, yeah, Owen bribed the Jim the Anvil with just a little bit of sweet, sweet cocaine to get him to turn, but they're teamed up. Owen, he's doing good on his side of the mic on this, but then we see Brett give one of the most meandering, awful, long speeches that I don't even think he had a plan. He gets into it, goes through, he's like, I got one thing to say. And then he has three things to say. And the speech is so long and boring that they actually cut to just a shot of the arena at one point just to get away from it. Cause it's like, this is painful. Even Pentangill's like, okay, come on, wrap it up, dude. Wrap it up.
Hurry up and
Um,
get some best there is, best there was. Like, yeah,
yeah, dude. But then I like there's other hearts involved in this that like there's a lot of lead up. We see Bruce Hart, who is like the scrappy do of the Hart Foundation. He looks
he
hilarious. He's like a little guy. He's got blonde hair. He kind of looks like Owen with a leather jacket.
he looks
And
like he's stuck in the '80s.
he spoke out basically in I think it was King's Corner, which is like an interview thing that they do on one of the shows. And he's like, the Hearts do not we renounce Owen Hart. We do not support Owen Hart. Like they basically everyone's spoken out because Owen's just he's being a bitch, you know?
Being a bratty little brother, man. And I love this, man. We see before the match, Vince, they get up out of their seat, him and Jerry, and they interview the patriarch and the matriarch of the Hart family. And Vince is asking them the softball questions, the typical stuff. So how are you guys feeling? what's you guys you
You
like
guys like
Chicago?
Chicago? Yeah. King's like, guys, why are you asking all these softball questions? What'd you do to Owen? Why did you do this? What's wrong with you? Where do you get off? And
Yeah.
Stu's not there, Steve.
Nah,
Stu
no,
is not. He's not there. He's
out for
there, but he's
lunch.
not. Um, and then I mean, we keep going down the line, Stephen. It just keeps getting better and better because we go from that to one Davy Boy Smith who has lost the braids, but now he has almost like a
Millie Vanilli.
very Millie. What was the Rico Suave? Because he's got
Oh,
like
he
the
said red.
long locks, the little sweater vest. He's tan to all goddamn shit, and he's almost like a more subdued, more intelligent Davy Boy Smith because he's got the glasses and he's almost like he's like, yes, Brett needs to do something about this young whippersnapper. It's very professional, Davy Boy Smith. So
Now, I gotta ask, like you're Davy Boy Smith stylist. There's only two options. We either going Bo Derek or we're gonna go right said Fred Millie Vanilli.
I feel like you just because I'm going right said Fred Millie Vanilli, Steve. If you get
Same.
sweaty enough, maybe it would relax a little bit. It's going to soften a little bit. It's going to be like Hulk Hogan's hair, where it's kind of like bouncy, but then it just mats down.
Yeah,
The braids, it's just not a good look. You
very
know,
off-putting. The
but
cornrows.
Steve, that's not even the best thing. Then Davy Boy Smith is. I was like, okay, that's all the hearts. But then out of nowhere, it's almost like they caught he was in the middle of a blackout. They're like, "Whoa, Jim the Anvil Neidhart's over here." He's like passed out, or look, he's like,
Hey, he's just chilling.
"What? What? Hey, what's up?" And they interview Jim, but it's the most like it's surprised I've ever seen somebody get. He's like, "I'm just here, man. I'm just here to hang out. Chill out, guys."
Owen's gonna be the new champ. Yeah, and I do think Stu and Hart drove Owen to greatness. Love
Yeah,
his
dude.
goatee. One of the best goatees of all time. Word to ZZ Top.
I'm here for Owen. And if someone's named Ernesto asked if I'm here, you never saw me, okay? Another beer, please. Another beer, honey.
He's so
Yeah.
great.
But
Oh,
this then Brett's awful promo happens after that, what we were talking about. But then we get to the match, Steve. And this is a classic match, and it's a good match. But the the rules are you got to get out of the cage. Now, I would assume that means crawling over it, something that takes effort. You could do that, or you can just walk out the door. And I don't like that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
that's kind of the standard cage rule. They've been doing that for a while, but I know what you mean. It just makes it seem too casual. Like you don't have to put as much effort in. It's like, all right, he's in the turnbuckle. I could just sprint.
Yeah, just drop kick your like do a spear out and just sell out, dude. Sell out like you're stealing home. But um, this is it, brother on brother violence, and Owen he starts smacking Brett around. Steve, he's getting all that aggression out quick.
Yeah, he attacks him at the door. Like fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Let's get
dude.
to it.
So my question is, if he did that, just like scooted, was like scoop, and just went out the door, does he win the match?
He wins the match.
Oh, okay, well that's crazy. You got to change those rules.
Well, I guess it depends on if the bell had rung at that point.
Okay, you're right. There is a bell ring to announce that the match is there, but um, I don't really. I like the wrestling. There's a lot of good wrestling in this, but most of this match is he's almost over the top.
Yeah.
He just drop like logic says Owen should have won this match 30 times. 30 minutes later, he's getting pulled up by his tights again, eased back into the ring again, and or is trying to claw his way out the door. You
And
know?
I think that calls attention to them being able to sell this story. because that's what really puts this match over, man. Because like you said, they could easily have won this a couple times, both of them, but they really sell that struggle to get down or that struggle to get out the door, and also like the camera angles. I think that helps sell. Because if you're just sitting on one shot, it can kind of look like that's kind of weak. But they're doing close-ups of the struggle. You're up in Owen Hart's nostrils, and he's just like,
He
"Ah!"
means nothing to me. Just yelling at his mom and dad. It's like, damn, this is some bad blood, Steve.
And they cut to Anvil, and that's like it's it's some foreshadowing because they just keep cutting to him like, oh yeah,
Another beer, please. He's 10 deep, Steve. He spent about $100 in brewskis at SummerSlam. He's blacked out. And again, it just keeps going back and forth. There's a lot of like fun mid, like hanging on a wall, getting in a fist fight
yeah,
stuff. We get a couple of there's a lot of smacking the other guy against the cage, whether it's doing like the little like seesaw thing where you fall down and launch him into the cage and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
and you're right. They legitimately pull off something that is dumb as fuck, and it is you're on the edge of your seat the whole time.
And
Um,
they both have a nasty fall at different points, man. I think it was Brett first. He was climbing the cage, and then Owen yanks him. And I don't know if this was legit or not, but it looked like he just kind of messed his shin up, like he landed on it just
hmm.
horrible.
I mean,
And
there's a couple times where he's grabbing his leg a bunch for sure.
so it might have been legit. And at some point, Owen takes a nasty fall, and like he lands on his nuts on the rope, and then he just like kind of like swings back down onto the canvas. But with Owen, you never know, man.
I mean, he's great. He can wrestle anybody. This match is great. It's almost like he's the mirror of Brett in a lot of ways. He has the same move set. They were trained by in the dungeon. So it's like people that have the same black belt going against each other almost. And it's a pretty long match, a lot of back and forth. Then eventually Brett does win because basically they're neck and neck getting out of the cage. But Owen, like, and I don't know how you do this, like, without really just it hurting a lot. But Owen, like, leg gets stuck in the cage and he, like, falls and is just, like, hanging by his fucking leg. And Brett wins the match. But then the real party starts, Steve.
Oh yes. Oh my.
I've been waiting for this. Jim the Anvil comes out. He pulls the sunglasses off. He starts whooping Brett's ass. He puts Brett back in the cage, gets in the cage. Then he has a chain, a padlock. He chains himself, Owen, and Brett into the cage and locks it so nobody's coming in. And if there's somebody who I don't want to be caged and locked in a cage with, it's Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Come on. It'll be a
You're
party.
you're losing a leg. You're losing some kind of virginity that you had before you got locked in that cage. I don't know what he's fucking, but he's gonna do something to you. You're never gonna forget, Steve. So he beats the shit out of Brett. They get to it, but then there's an arena full of hearts, Steve. I don't know how many heart kids there are, but they're coming out of the woodwork. They're like an
Stu-
Asian like stunt team. They're coming in. They got blue jeans. Davy Boy takes the fucking Ray Bans off. He's trying to get up there. And I gotta say, whoever's doing Davy Boy's tanning regimen, dial it back 3 notches because he's got a George Hamilton tan. It's crazy.
Is that one of my cousins? One of my
Yeah.
light cousins? Oh no, that's Davy Boy Smith. And,
That's super George Hamilton.
but like Owen and Anvil, like whack-a-mole, man, one by one. Like Bruce is almost getting in. Get your ass down. Davy Boy's almost in. Get your ass down. The
Bruce looks
next,
like Leave It to Beaver, dude. He looks fucking like a chode.
yeah, just he had that He-Man haircut too. Just like that's why I think he's stuck in the '80s. I thought you were going to touch on the clothesline from behind that Anvil gives Davy Boy Smith and his wife.
Oh, I forgot he does crunch the chick too. Yeah, I mean
That
it's Jim the Anvil, Steve.
he blasts both of them, and the way he did it was fucking hilarious because he just strong arm. I don't know if that was intentional, if the wife agreed to this, but damn, she took a tumble right next to her husband.
Yeah. No, dude, the camera angle, it was just the camera shot of when they first walked up on Jim the Anvil in that interview. He looked like he was hiding from his probation officer. Like he was just looked like he was trying to avoid being seen, but it's Jim the
Yeah,
Anvil Neidhart. So his like blase, like, what? What? What's going on? Oh yeah, okay. I'm Jimmy the Anvil Neidhart. But yeah, so they basically whoop that ass. Eventually, all of the other hearts start like coming in like ants, and they get out and run to the back because Jim left the 8 ball out, and they both got to get to the back to make sure that that's okay. But now there's a rift in the hearts, Steve,
yeah,
and
man.
everyone thinks Jim the Anvil is kind of he's the guy pulling the strings a little bit. You know, he's the guy with the addiction.
Yeah,
He's pulling
man.
Owen down with them.
That broke my heart, man. No pun intended. Like Heart Foundation, one of my favorite tag teams. I always thought they were so cool. Brett and like it's just that there's the finesse and then the power. And they epitomize that the best, especially in the 80s, man. You know, this is the guy doing all the technical work, and this is just a big stout dude that's just gonna bowl over your ass, man.
It's the original Vicious and Delicious.
Boom.
It's that.
Exactly, man.
But I do have to say, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, never wear the all pink get up. It looks crazy. It's insane to see. Put a little black in there for the contrast because they show him once. I was like, you look like a fucking crack Valentine. Look
God dang.
insane. But I love also Jerry the King just taking so much pleasure in the hearts, just unraveling. He's laughing the whole time. He's such a good heel commentator. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think he's fully gone into his like Lawler that we like in the later years with him and Ross, man. But this is still comedic gold, though. And Todd Pettengill, he gets an opportunity to chat with Owen after the match, and Owen's pissed, talking about how his family turned on him. Like they act like I don't exist. I'm a heart too. How dare y'all?
Congratulate me on my win, bitch.
I'm
I
the king of
mean,
hearts.
Pettingill's got some nuts just aggressively running up on Jim the Anvil Neidhart with a mic like that, too. You're lucky he didn't just pop your ass.
Up next is the main event. We got the recap: Undertaker versus Undertaker. You cut to various people who claim there was an Undertaker sighting. The guy at the deli saw Taker. The little girl in kindergarten saw him at the playground. A fireman saw him. Ladies at the antique shop saw him. And we cut to Ted DiBiase at the cemetery, and he knows the real Undertaker. He's been talking to the Undertaker. But then we cut to Paul Bear. He was like, "Bullshit! I was playing spades with him last night.
You
Oh,
don't know shit, $1 million man.
I call Cap."
Yeah, and Paul's a little miffed. He's miffed about all this bullshit going on. Taker basically retired after being put into a casket. He went to the Nether Realm for a while. He had to take a break.
And that right there was when I first became an Undertaker fan. Royal Rumble '94 of that year. This was the casket match with Yokozuna, and at some point there's a ruckus. All of the heels from the company, they come out one by one. Jeff Jarrett, Crush, the Head Shrinkers, both of them, and Taker's just doing the whole rise up. I don't care. Boom, boom, just laying them out one by one. I was like, this dude is so cool. He's
Oh yeah,
he's
dude.
with the shits. And like they put him in the casket, he still rises up. And then like they do that little video where he just like rises out into whatever to nothingness.
That was weird. That was weird, but
Yeah,
I mean, dude, he put Ultimate Warrior in a casket. I remember that traumatized my ass. I was like, he
same.
killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they showed the scratches on the inside of the casket door, I was like, dude, he's dead. This guy's dead. It's killed me. So Undertaker, I was a fan. I don't know, a little iffy, but I do love the idea that Undertaker was supposedly gone. Right? He's dead. $1 million man, though. He knows one thing that'll bring anybody back from the dead, and that's a shitload of money. So now he's coming around. He's like, guess what, guys? I went to the bank, took out a loan, Just joking. I had enough. Found the Undertaker in the Nether Realm, brought him back, and he's got what appears to be an Undertaker. Steve,
from Middle Earth.
he's got something. Paul Bear's pissed off. Paul gets choked out by this fake Undertaker or this Undertaker, the $1 million taker. And then all of a sudden we hear dong, and the real Undertaker, he's like, oh, Paul's about to nut. And there's apparently two Undertakers in this world now, Steve. He crossbred, the devil brought, like, copied and pasted him when he was in the Nether Realm. I don't know, but um, we got a little Undertaker on Undertaker violence about to happen here.
May the real one win. And like Ted DiBiase, this is his third appearance. I hope he got paid for this event because he's doing all the work.
Where do you think all the cash came from? That was just what they paid him for the night. He's like, I guess I'll use this. It's not enough, but let me get out there. Fuck you,
It,
Vince.
I'm the real $1 million man. And
Uh,
he brings out his taker. And then out next comes Paul Bear, and it's just him. And after he gets in the ring, a couple druids or Grim Reapers, they come out with a casket rolled out. And Paul Bear brings out his big jumbo travel size urn,
super
special
size. Super size, Steve.
and a beam of light shoots out, and I guess this is Undertaker's bat signal. Yeah,
That's his spirit, Steve. Oh, I mean, Paul Bearer looks like he's in the middle of a stroke. It's just a very high-powered flashlight put in a gigantic urn, 8 times the size of the one that Paul Bearer used to bring around. Apparently, he's got Aladdin's magic lamp that looks like an urn. But then, after about 3 minutes of him having a stroke with a light, Undertaker comes out, Steve, and I don't know how the guy's name who's playing the fake Taker. His name's Brian Lee, right?
yeah, he was in ECW for a little bit. Yeah,
Like, if I can't see you from far away, if I do this and I'm watching this match, sure. But if the second you get within 10 feet, you're like, man, what the fuck?
yeah.
Man, that ain't no motherfucking Undertaker. This is
It,
Undertaker. Let me hear you say,
like, I was thinking, man, if they had this in modern times, the crowd would shout "Timu Taker."
yeah, yeah, dude. But this wasn't the best match. It's like kind of a bummer that this was the last match because
Yeah.
I feel like most of this was a great pay per view. But um, the real Taker's back, Steve. He takes down this fake Taker. But I gotta say, they tried their best, and to try to actually live action do this with like two people in the ring, I mean, fuck. You pulled it off for a second, but as soon as the lights turned on, it's like, man, look at this Billy Idol looking Taker, fucking eyeliner and shit.
It's obvious who the real one is, man. You know, the real Taker, he gets tombstone, but he raises up. Then fake Taker, he slaps on another tombstone, but it gets reversed, and he gets tombstone. The fake Undertaker. Undertaker picks him back up, gives him a second tombstone. Paul Bear's like, no, three times a charm. So he picks fake Taker up again. Wow, and that's what gets the pin, and the crowd is just unenthused. Like, when are the Bulls playing again? It's still August. Okay.
I had a Polish sausage over at the deli, and I think I saw Taker getting a deep dish.
I love Taker, but this was a snooze fest. Like the
I mean,
entrance.
it was just too much of a bit. It was too big of an ask, Put
Yeah.
something out. Do this as one of like the lead ups to the main event. I mean, for sure, either Owen Hart, Bret Hart should have been the main event, or I would have taken Razor Ramon Diesel, honestly.
Over this for
Yeah,
sure.
over this for sure. But you know what, dude? Mark Callis, you're a fucking badass. I'm not gonna say shit. You're the real Taker anyway. So Brian Lee, go back to Timo. Do
And
whatever you got to do.
and Brian Lee Taker, he gets rolled out into the casket. The Druids go to the back with him, and Before we cut back to Leslie Nielsen and Kennedy, Macho Man, one last time, he's like, "This is the most amazing night ever. Till next time, but wait, there's more." And Kennedy and Nelson, they open up the casket and nothing's there.
What? What? How could this be, Steve? Wait, the case.
There is a case.
It's a briefcase, and they found it, Steve. Bah, bah. I mean, even that. Just
Case.
don't do this, Leslie. In heaven, you could have said no. This part of the writing wasn't there. This is how we end this, guys. This is the big payoff to this multi-sketch thing we got going. It's a briefcase, boss. Fuck out of here with that. That needs to go in the trash bin with Lex Luger's little fucking nipples. We can all just burn those things.
Not the nipples. But yeah, that following year, Junior Mafia, 1985, Junior Mafia releases Conspiracy. And the first two CDs I ever bought when I got my Walkman was Dog Food by Dog Pound and Junior Mafia's Conspiracy. This was summer of 95, man, and the two tracks, the two releases were Get Money and Grab Your Lips If You Love Hip Hop. Ladies, rub your titties if you love Big Papa. This whole album bangs, man. Like,
I
R.I.P. to
didn't,
Big.
I didn't know about Junior Mafia until I knew about Biggie. I wasn't onto them, but I know those songs for sure. Those are classics.
Yeah, like Lil C's, he was in Junior Mafia, but like the other guys, they didn't really pan out to be solo artists. This also introduced us to Lil Kim because I believe this album came out before her debut album, and just great lyricism. It's good. Biggie's still alive. He's still on top of the world. At this point, man, he was my favorite rapper at this time, man. 1997, Excess Baggage premieres in theaters. A bratty teenager fakes her own kidnapping, but gets mistakenly kidnapped for real instead. Directed by Marco Brambilla, starring Alicia Silverstone, Benicio del Toro, Christopher Walken, Jack Thompson, Nicholas Turturro, and Harry Connick Jr.
This movie actually is like not is one of these like weird '90s movies you'd watch where I wouldn't think this would be as good with like Alicia in it, but there's some hitters in this. It has freaking Christopher Walken in it.
It's got Christopher Walken, it's got Benicio, and I thought the movie was dumb. Yeah, this is one of those where it's hard to get behind the protagonist because Alicia is playing this bratty rich girl who just wants attention from her daddy, and she's going about it the wrong way. Like, she's trying to pull some scam on her old man because he was just never involved in her life. But big uncle Christopher Walken, he was more of the father figure, and really Christopher Walken is the driving force that got me through this movie, honestly.
It's weird that Benicio's like a romantic interest in this too, because he's never really painted as that, you know.
Yeah.
Because now he's like the silent killer, just like the badass. But yeah, I didn't remember this era where he was like sort of emo Benicio. You know, looked almost
Very
like he should be in Dawson's Creek or some shit.
I think it was the writing, man, because you have these top tier performers, and it should make it somewhat of a feasible flick. But yeah, it didn't land, man. That's just my opinion.
I just remember it being kind of like not a horror, like a steaming pile of shit. But I did not watch it. I just watched the trailer and I remembered some moments from it, especially the Christopher Walken stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you like a nice, handsome, young Benicio del Toro, check it out.
If you're a fan, it's worth that. And Alicia, man, you will always have a pretty mouth to me. But also in 1997, Netflix is launched as an internet DVD rental service. It was founded by Mark Randolph and Reed Hastings in Scotts Valley, California.
And it's an example of something that in my life I have true like information on where I completely wrote the company off as something stupid. I was like, I don't want to have somebody send me DVDs and keep them and then return them. And even in the realm of that, I started to come around. And now what it's become, I was like, this is going to be around for like 5 years. It'll be gone. like Red Box or some shit. But no, dude, it's huge.
Here we
I was
are,
an idiot. I should have invested.
man. Hindsight's 2020, Matt. But
Hey,
any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
well, Steve, I just want to shout out because I want to shout out to the 90s football that we watched. This is just random, but I was watching Steelers stuff. I'm trying to get excited for football, even though my team looks like they're going to suck. And I was reminded of the Super Bowl, and I just thought you'd enjoy this because you're a Cowboys fan. But, I'm in junior high. I'm on top of the world because I moved to Ohio and the Steelers are dominating. And then we get to a Super Bowl with the one Dallas Cowboys. And I can only say that Neil O'Donnell, the quarterback, watching it again, shout out to Neil O'Donnell because I hope you made a lot of money off of whoever paid you off for that. Throwing directly to Darren, what's his fucking face? He threw directly to like three of your guys. He threw better passes to your cornerbacks than he threw to any of the wide receivers that game. But
Darren Woodson and
that's what it was, Darren Woodson. But shout out Yancey Thigpen. He was a Steelers wide receiver I forgot about. Shout out to that guy. That guy was a badass.
I remember Yancey, man. He was solid for y'all for a little minute. And this is also the time y'all had Slash.
Yeah, but I remember specifically having to go to a Mr. Hodak's history class and get an earful from somebody I'd talked shit to that was a Cowboys fan. So, you know, just like to hit that nerve one more time. So I guess you enjoyed that, Steve. Enjoy.
Well, I mean,
Good
I
old
have
days.
to get as much from that as I can because we haven't came back since.
You're right. You're right. But it's just, it was back in the good old days. Aikman's there. Emmett's there.
The
They're all
playmaker.
there. Everybody's there. So I just wanted to, end on some positivity for you. But
Hey,
this year, Steve, Russell Wilson's coming for that ass. I think we play you guys. So,
we shall see. I
yeah.
know we played the bumbling Browns first week.
So
Looking
you're
forward to
going to
that.
play us. So we'll play you eventually. We'll have a nice little chat about that on Happened in the 90s.
Oh yeah, we owe them some get back. We owe them some get back, man, because the Browns beat us in Cleveland the last time we played. So yeah, and like I was trying to be like nonpartisan. Like you know what, I'm from Ohio. I rock with y'all too. Y'all kind of like my secondary team. So no harm, no foul. But I am a Cowboys fan. So when the Browns won, they were like, oh yeah, Cowboys suck dick.
That's
Fuck
every
off.
Browns fan. They get trashed, and when you say anything to them, they're like, "Oh, fucking real nice, dude. You have to make fun of. Don't you gotta hit us when we're down, dude." And then as soon
Oh
as they do one thing well, it's like, "Hey, you see how fucking good we are, you little pussy?
yeah,
Why don't you go fucking kill yourself?" You're like, "Wait,
yeah.
what the fuck?"
Because your life totally sucks now when we rule. So
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, okay, I learned from the last time. Like, okay, no, kick them while they down, kick them,
yeah, you're right.
stomp on their hands, just like Bret Hart and Owen. Like you see him climbing, no, like, get your ass back down here.
I'll be rooting for you guys. I don't like the Browns. I'm done with it. I tried to be nice too, and I got burnt too, so I'm done with it.
Yeah, I know you got an earful for a while, living with
Oh,
a
my
bunch of
whole fucking life, Steve.
yeah,
My whole fucking life, man.
uh,
What about you? We can move on.
man, I struck a nerve with that one, but I gotta say, man. So your guy HBK, he's considered Mr. WrestleMania, and like watching this, man, I was wondering like who would be considered Mr. SummerSlam, and I gotta say none other than Bret Hart because in 1990 he won the tag titles with Jim against Demolition. In 91 he had a classic Intercontinental match with Mr. Perfect. 92 he had a classic match with British Bulldog in Wembley Stadium. 93 it was a match against Doink, so we kind of skip over that.
Dude.
94 though, that was the one, another like 5-star match with his brother Owen, man. And people talk about Brock Lesnar being Mr. SummerSlam because he had some classics, but I kind of tuned out in his beginning stages. I wasn't around, and I'm a fan of the Beast mode, man. But if I have to pick, man, I got to say Brett is Mr. SummerSlam. But please like, share, subscribe, comment. Please tell your sister, I remember all the ways I used to hate you. Please check out Food Show Fanatics with Matt and Kendra, as well as Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra G. Our guy Clark the Shark. Once again, bravo on your success, man, in podcast.
Hell
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Love it.
And this is Steve G and Matt G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Laughing kind of hard, ain't you, bruh?